What's going on, everyone? Thanks for visiting the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about where you should invest your very first $1,000 or more. There's a lot of just misinformation that I'm seeing online, opinions that I really disagree with on where or how you should invest your money. The first 100 or 500 or 1,000 or more that you have to invest with. And I just want to give you my insight as to what I would do. So if this sounds good, stick around to the end and I'll tell you exactly what I would do. Okay, so if this is your first time visiting the channel, we talk about entrepreneurship, passive income, how to grow your wealth. If this sounds good to you, make sure you hit the like button. It does really help the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment below, and if you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. Hit that notification bell. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of just really bad advice online, and I want to really just help the community, help you guys put your money to work with what's going to make the most amount of sense. And I just want to give you just the flip side of what I see versus what many of these other financial channels are talking about, where they're saying this is where you should invest your first $100 or $500 or $1,000. And I just want to give you my take on what I would do if I was investing from the very beginning and just let you guys make your own decision. So when you're investing, you are investing to earn passive income as well as grow a portfolio that over time is going to increase in value and hopefully retire you. Everyone has a different definition as to what retiring means. Everyone has a different definition as to what passive income means. So most people, if you don't have this mindset, you should be thinking along the lines of, if your passive income will supersede the amount of bills that you have each month, it doesn't mean you have to stop working. It just means that the passive income that is coming in is worth more than the money that you're able to generate. Instead of generating or instead of working where you're exchanging time for money, the passive income is doing this for you, and it gives you all of that freed up time to basically go out and make the best decisions in business and grow your own brand or your own business without having to work for someone else. So let's get into it. If you have $100, $500, $1,000, I see a lot of other channels saying you should buy dividends, you should buy into this ETF, you should buy into this specific stock. And I very, very much disagree with this, and here's why. Let's just do the math. If you were a dividend buyer, and a dividend is nothing more than a stock or a portfolio of stock that is paying dividends either on a monthly, quarterly, yearly basis, where you're gonna get basically a drip or an amount of money that comes back to you from the stock that you purchased. This is called a dividend. This is really the easiest passive income as a way of investing. And generally, you're gonna get about 2%, maybe up to 4% per year in dividend drip or dividend ROI. If you have $100 and you're investing in dividends, you're going to make, on the high end, if you could get 4% per year, you're going to make $4. I want this to just sink into you. If you're investing $1,000 into dividends, you're going to make $40 for the year. So let's just take a step back. If you could work anywhere and earn $10 an hour at any minimum wage job, if you invested $100, this is essentially 30 minutes of work. So let this sink in. Why in the world would you ever invest $100 to sit there for an entire year to make what you can earn in 30 minutes? And I'll go up to 1,000. You're going to make $40 in a best case scenario, $40 for the entire year. Investing in dividends, I think, is a great idea when you have a higher amount of money to put towards this. But I completely disagree with all of these gurus and anyone saying if you have $100, $500, $1,000, you should be investing in dividends or you should be investing your money. It's not the right play. It's gonna do nothing. And if you can make this kind of money in 30 minutes or a few hours of work, why in the world would you ever tie up $1,000 or even for that sake $100 for an entire year to make that little of money. So I also want to put something else into perspective. Instead of investing your money to make 4% on such a starter or a small amount of money, just think about all of the goods and services that you buy throughout the entire year that is costing you extra money. For example, if you could get toothpaste on sale and you could save, buy one, get one free, where you're spending $3 for a tube of toothpaste, if you actually bought that toothpaste, a 3-pack, a 5-pack, a 10-pack even, where you're gonna have to brush your teeth. You know you need toothpaste. If you could save 50% or 70% on your toothpaste cost, this is a better deal than tying up $100 to make $4. You're going to save a lot more money. You're going to make even more money than that $4 by just covering the things that you have to buy. There's a lot of just daily things that you could do that's going to far supersede putting your money in a dividend or buying a stock that's going to make you $4. Buy things that make sense that you are already buying or using. Get it as a good deal. Buy in bulk. You're going to save more, which actually make you more money on the amount that you save than what you could actually have come in profit from investing. So that would be my very, very first tip. Okay, so tip number 2, what I would do with $100, $500, or $1,000 or more as my very first investment. Would I invest it? I would not. The second step is once you've actually purchased things in your life that you know you're going to need to use, you can get them at a really great price, a good deal, I would have some sort of an emergency fund. With everything that's going on in the world, especially now, we have absolutely no idea what type of job security you have. Anything can happen, really. This is a new world that we're living in. We've all seen it in this last year, and you should have an emergency fund. Before you invest any amount of money, you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in an account put off to the side that you don't touch. Yes, you can find a high interest checking account that might pay 1 or 2% per year. They are out there. I would much rather say to have your money in a checking account like this that is earning a little bit of interest, maybe a third or half of what you could earn as opposed to investing in dividends. It's your fund, your emergency fund, that if anything happens in your life, you lose your job, your car breaks down, whatever the case, you have an emergency fund that you can tap into, that this is what you're saving for, and that's why it's called an emergency fund. You don't touch it, you add to it. I would get, again, 3 to 6 months of all of your expenses put in this account before you even think about doing any investing. Okay, so step number 3, you have an emergency fund, you've purchased things in your life at a great price that you know you're already gonna have to buy. I would immediately work on building credit. It is no mystery that leveraging cash flow, being able to use what we call OPM, other people's money, to increase your net worth is the quickest way to gain financial freedom. If you can borrow $100,000, $50,000, $1 million, and you can put that money to work where you're using other people's money to do that, a bank or an institution, or pulling money from a credit card, this is a way where if you can set it up correctly, you're able to earn more than it costs for you to borrow that money. So in order to do this, you need to have great credit. I would focus any additional money that you have coming in, aside from your emergency fund, aside from your bills, aside from investing any money at this point, I would build your credit. By having good credit, you're able to borrow money and put that money to work, and in return, get passive income. So an example of this would be if you're buying your first, let's say, rental property. You might buy a property for $100,000. You might need 20% down for that down payment. It allows you to earn passive income by putting your debt to work. It's good debt, and using one of the principles that I've spoken about And in this example, a rental property. You put a down payment, you fix the house up, you start to rent it out, you receive a rental income. It might cost 4% per year to borrow that money. And in return, if you can get a 10 to 12% ROI on that money, you're banking 6 to 8% per year. The money is passively coming in. I would make sure that I'm putting my money to the best use that it can be. Okay, so just to wrap this video up, I just want to cover what we went over and just my final thoughts. So if you follow the 3 steps, you've purchased items that you know you're already going to need to use at drastically discounted prices. The amount of money that you're going to save on purchasing things that you already are going to need to spend money on is going to far outweigh any profit that you would earn on investing small. Number 2, have that cushion, have that emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses and bills set aside in a checking account, earning a small amount of interest. You don't want to get yourself in a situation where you've invested a small amount of money and then you need to pull that money because of some sort of bill or unexpected expense. And then number 3, build that credit. Have stellar credit so that you're able to do what I preach, which is use other people's money. OPM, the amount of money that can be earned leveraging such a larger amount of money. If you're able to leverage 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 or more and put that money to work where you're able to earn passively versus investing a few $100 or $1,000, you can just see automatically how much more money can be made using OPM. If you're investing even $1,000 per year in the stock market, whether it's dividends or stocks, yes, you will compound your money and earn, and I don't discourage doing this, but if you are able to do that exact same principle, but using much higher amounts of money, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, you're going to grow your wealth so much quicker if you have the credit, if you have the ability to use other people's money. And this is really, as I've said before, this is no surprise. All of the big and successful investors are using these principles. They're using other people's money to build wealth faster. And just a final tip or a final point, why I disagree with so many gurus and online coaches and people that are just giving bad information. Anyone that's telling you to invest your first $100 before you have some sort of emergency fund or cushion, just use common sense. This is the wrong way to do it. And most of them are either pitching some sort of investment vehicle or investment as an affiliate where they're getting paid every single time you guys open up an account. There's nothing wrong with them earning this money, but it's disingenuous to tell customers or tell their followers that you should open up an account and take your very first $100 or your very first $500 and invest it when they know absolutely this is not the right way. You need to have a nest egg first. You need to do things before you invest your only free amount of money. So this is why I disagree with what these online gurus, most of them are pitching, saying to just immediately invest before you have any of these other things set up. So if you've done all of these steps and you're ready to invest at this time, yes, I believe if you don't want to get into the real estate investment game or start your own business or do anything like this where you're just truly looking for passive income, at this point, I believe it's an okay time to invest your money. You could invest your next $100, $500, $1,000 or more at this point once you have those 3 steps set up. Okay, so I hope you guys found value in this video. If you did, I want to hear what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys have done. Have you invested right from the get-go? Did you take your first $100 or first $1,000 and invest it? If so, what did you do with it? Are you happy with the returns? Do you agree or disagree with any of the comments that I've made? Do you think it's better to get an emergency fund together, buy things in your life you know you're going to need, and then build that credit to leverage cash and be able to use other people's money to bring in a much higher and faster rate of return? Do you think that I'm right or wrong? I want to hear about it. So leave a like below. It does help the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. We talk about entrepreneurship, passive income, growing your wealth. Until the next video, guys, take care, and I'll see you later.